Do you find yourself yearning for a deeper, more purposeful existence? Get ready to embark on a transformative journey, diving deep into the realms of personal development, friendships, romance, and abundance. Get ready for Finding the Fire, Igniting Soul Connection, as we lead the way to embrace the fire within.
Hello. So today we thought it would be good for us to share who we are, what we do, why we do what we do. Because who are these two girls just talking? Why do we even care? Why are we listening? So to dive right in, first of all, Holly and I, how long have we known each other, Holly? Maybe 5 years?
5 years?
I'd say about 5 years. And when I met Holly, she's like this powerhouse, right? She's got this big, huge gift, and it's almost like it was, the energy around Holly when I met you was like, you had this gift to give to the world, but yet you're a little bit shy to put it out there. And I'm like, come on, girl, let's do this. So I kind of took you under my wing and introduced you to people and sent people your way, because I could see within you the bright light that you are, and that you could help people find that within themselves, right? That's what I saw in you. And that's why I just felt so connected to you and drawn to you in the beginning. And still to this, it's even more so now. Back then I could see it, but now I've felt it and experienced it and lived it with you and continued to watch it grow and blossom, and it's just so beautiful, and I just
Thank you.
love that. You're welcome. And it's been amazing to watch you come out of your shell too, and just own who you are and all the people you've helped, from then till now and before, and the people still coming your way is, it's a amazing gift. I actually even brought my mother to you, I remember.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah. So my own healing journey, right? Learning who I am, letting go of stories in my head that were, that I was holding on to, that were maybe hurting me or holding me back. Part of that was releasing a story, this pain story around my childhood, my mother, and so I started doing some work around that with myself. But at some point I'm like, oh, my mom could really benefit from coming to Holly, because Holly can help tap into where we're having some emotional blocks. You have so many gifts, but I'm just explaining to why I brought my mom to you, because she was very programmed, right, with society. Society really programs us with religion and education and parents, and they just kind of pass down their programmings and their belief systems onto us, so we don't even know who we truly are, right? And that's been my journey, is letting go of all those stories to find out who I am. So as I did this with myself and my relationship with my mother, I realized you could help me with that with my mom. So yeah, so I just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Great memory to pull back up, because as you know, my mom passed recently in the last couple of years, so right during COVID, and it was a big surprise. It was right after the COVID lockdowns. My grandmother was in a care center, and she was locked down, and she passed right after, 3 months into the lockdown, and then my mom passed unexpectedly 3 months after that. So I'm so grateful that I had that time and experience to nurture that bond between my mom and I, and thank you for being part of that.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me be part of it.
Yeah. So, so what Holly and I do, we do a plethora of things, right? But what really called us together, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, we started being really drawn to and told, inspired, that we were supposed to bring men's retreats to the world, right? And both of us were super intimidated by that. We're wait a minute, we're a couple women and we're being told to host men's retreats. What?
But it was so strong.
Yeah.
It was so strong.
It was so strong and so powerful. And we kept okay, but tuning into that, what does that look like? And then a whole lifetime happened between then. But at one point, it was actually 2 years after we first got the inspiration that it's like, it's now. Like, no more waiting, girls. Like, you're doing this now, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that day? Like, it was so powerful. We're like, oh no, we can't leave
go
this
time.
room. We cannot leave this connection until we put it on the calendar, schedule it, book the event space, like everything, right?
Yeah.
And it was so powerful. So, yeah. And then the transformation of what was experienced at those retreats is just so powerful. Like, and we had no idea what even, right? Like, we're like, what should we do? And we had all of these different ideas that we put out, but it was so different than anything we thought in that moment. We just knew in that moment we had to schedule it, right? And then it transitioned to this other beautiful experience. And we offer quite a few different things. Do you want to talk some more on like what we offered and
Like in our men's retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, those definitely, like, I think we ended up putting on almost a handful of them. And were seriously some of the most spiritual, cool experiences that.
It was powerful,
Yeah,
right?
it was so powerful. To see the men come in that have never had kind of a space to feel all their emotions, or just a space to have time to themselves where they didn't have other commitments or family members or things that they had to take care of, and just a time to really reflect on their healing journey and what maybe they've been suppressing for years, things that needed to be brought up to their attention, things that to kind of even help them recognize like who they are, remembering who they are.
Right. And back to that whole like programming, right? Like we were taught who to be and what to do, and don't cry, suck it up, don't show emotion, like all the stories and programming that men get, right? I mean, we all get them, but men especially, like don't be a sissy, you're crying like a girl, like, all those things.
You gotta be tough. You gotta, you're the breadwinner. You gotta make, you just gotta always suck it up and
just show up and suck it up and don't complain and don't have emotion around it, right? But holding that space to allow that.
But it was just so cool because there was like the men that came in, they were able to, like, they cried like babies, like they broke down, like, and they had to feel safe. They have to have a place to feel
have a
safe
safe container
space,
for that.
a safe container to where they were able to just allow themselves to feel everything that they just needed to feel. Like it was,
whether it's tears or anger or sadness or all the things,
or hurt or pain, just anything, or like from either whether it was childhood or a relationship or
a boss or anything,
a parent or
and to provide that container, that was that's the important part, right? Because like you're not going to feel safe to just go out and express this emotion. One, you might be afraid of like scaring somebody, especially women holding that space, right? Like you don't want to project all that anger because you're like, oh, can they handle this? Yes, women are powerful and strong and they can handle it. And I'm not just saying you and I'm saying women in general. So like even husbands with their wives that hold back because they're like, my wife can't handle it if I'm angry about something or sad about something. Well, she can if you do it in a loving manner and express it in a way that's not projecting at her, but just releasing. But yeah, so, and some of the offerings that we have there are just, we offer things like ice baths, which are super powerful because it's kind of like a mindset, right? Like I'm going to put my body in this freezing cold ice and choose to do that, and it's painful and it takes your breath away and it's shocking, and but once you can like put yourself through that, and like we guide you through it, right, with breath work and like helping you reclaim your power to that, and then you have this huge dopamine release, and it's just like, and suddenly you can be in that ice bath forever, and it just is this amazing like powerful expression of who you are, and you realize you can do hard things and it's safe, and I'm actually going to feel better after I do the thing, right, instead of suppressing it and holding back. So and trying to think of all
the things that we did.
Yeah, there's so many. And
they show up and they're like, they put themselves through a lot.
Yeah.
That even, let's say they sat with Combo with you.
Yeah. So Combo is a super powerful medicine of the jungle. And it comes from a tree frog, and it is actually called the vaccine of the jungle. So down in the Amazon, they vaccinate themselves and their children with combo, and it goes through your body, and it eliminates any pathogens, any bacteria, any fungus, any viruses, anything that is not serving your body, and it just eliminates it so fast. And so if there's ever an illness that goes through, then they sit with combo. If they are strengthening themselves for hunting and gathering or battle, then they'll sit with combo. There's lots of benefits to it. But yeah, it's super powerful, and it makes you shift. It finds everything that's stuck inside of you and makes it leave your body. Like there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
And that's what's so powerful about it. And part of that experience is purging. So your body, like purging, is actually releasing so much, like emotion and even all the bacteria and viruses and all that. But it finds all that stuck energy and forces it out of you. And when you're in that state of release and surrender, it allows for all of those stuck emotions to come out too. Like say your brother like took your favorite truck when you were a kid, and your parents just told you to suck it up, or like didn't believe you that he took it, or he destroyed it in front of you just to tease you or whatever. And now as an adult, right? Like, okay, it was a toy and whatever, I'm over it. But you're not, because your body stores that emotion. And so like allowing space for that to release and see it, reveal it, and feel it to heal it, like let it go, allows for so much more. So like maybe you're holding on to that anger or distrust or whatever towards your brother. So now as an adult, like in your adult relationship, like cognitively, like you're over that, right? But down inside, you can't allow your relationship with your brother to be fully what it can be if you're still holding that somewhere inside of you. And that just goes for so many other things too. But yeah, that's a powerful tool that we used. And
one of my favorite things was the hoppe too.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about the hoppe? Talk about your experience with hoppe.
So it was, I think, a year and a half ago was the first time I did hoppe. It was at the first men's retreat that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Cindy went and trained with the chief from the jungle to learn all about hoppe.
From Tanawa tribe of Brazil, yeah.
And to be able to serve it. And so like I was really grateful to learn through her all about hoppe. But yeah, the first time that she served me hoppe was
pretty powerful.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Oh my
like that
goodness.
picture that was taken even?
So yeah, I actually was recording that. Or my daughter, I think, anyway, somebody actually had that on video. So yeah, as I served you hoppe the first time, like it's so powerful, and it just opens up your energetic field. And I've seen it and felt it and experienced it so much and with so many different people. But with Holly, like I mentioned, like how powerful she is and how bright of a light she is and how, this beautiful energy she has. So when she sat with hoppe, like it literally like vibrated her whole body, and the recording on the cell phone camera that was taken was like glitching in and out because of how much like energy was shifting.
Remember the guy sitting next to me?
Yeah.
He said he was like, I had to freaking move.
Yeah, he was like, the power that just shot through you as it opened up was just, he was like, whoa. And then he's like, that was really cool. But yeah, I had to, like, it like physically like pushed him back because of the power that came through you. But to explain a little bit about what hoppe is, because a lot of people might not know.
So it is a plant medicine, a very sacred plant medicine that is very much it's very well prepared, and like they take like a day to prepare, so long, right, to prepare it.
It's so it's a combination of plants and roots, and most of it does have a tobacco base as well, but they burn it and it's actually an ash. And so a lot of people like maybe can relate to a peace pipe of the native tribes of the North Americas, where they would sit down and like share a peace pipe, and it would just bring this calmness over you and allow you to get into your heart space. Well, down in the southern hemispheres, they use hape, and it's actually a snuff. So instead of like smoking it, it's blown into your nares, and it gets you out of your head. Like it puts the monkey brain aside, right? Like we have a million thoughts all the time going, and we're always trying to overthink and overanalyze everything. But if we can like let that just take a pause for a minute, like take a break and like just be in your heart space and like feel that. What does that feel like to just take a breath, let go of all the stories, let go of all the thoughts, and feel. And so one of the use, well, a couple of the uses that the shaman of the tribes do. So if there's a relations between like a husband-wife relations, and if they're not getting along, they might take them to the shaman, and the shaman will sit them down and serve them hape. And so they can get into their heart space, get out of the stories of whatever's going on, and just remember why they're together and why they love each other, and helps them release all that and reconnect. And then one of the really cool things too is, so if tribes are having a conflict and they can't come to a resolution, and they're considering like going to battle over whatever, going to war over something, they'll sit the chiefs down with the hape and serve it to the chiefs together to see if they can just sit in their heart, get out of their stories, and see if they can come to a peaceful resolution. And more times than not, that will do it for them, and it'll save any physical battles or wars that they might have been considering, because your brain's telling you one thing, but it's like, oh, if we can just get in our heart, remember that we're all here for the same purpose.
Yeah, it can be such a beautiful experience. That's why I think every time it's a different experience, and sometimes it's a little shocking and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is that people love the way that it feels. It's sometimes people can't get out of their head, so it is a great way to kind of get out of your head, and all of a sudden you just feel very like instantly connected into your heart, which people struggle connecting to their heart. So I feel like and you just feel such a great peace, and you feel like this unconditional love that it just kind of brings you right back to a space that it feels awesome, I think. Yeah.
It brings you back to the core of who you are, that we've forgotten over all the years, and all the programs and all the teachings and all, everything, the busyness of life, right? Like we get busy with life, just having to like provide for our families and take care of, the day-to-day stuff. So like reconnecting with who you are is so powerful.
So I do. I think it's such an honor to sit with clients with that. I love having the opportunity to see people have that experience where it just brings them back to who they are.
Yeah.
Like, and the love that and that a lot of times it just instantly connects you to the downloads or the messages that you need to hear in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's very powerful. Can share lots of stories around hape, but it's cool. It's cool. It's a really cool tool. It's a really cool tool to have in your toolbox, and when it's called for, it can really help through.
Yes. And then I'm trying to think what else. Another thing we offered was the Sananga.
Sananga. Oh yeah. Sananga. I love that. So Sananga is an eye drop. So this, again, all these medicines come from the jungle, from the South Americas, mostly Peru, Brazil, Colombia, but Sananga is an eye drop from a root, and it actually, so again, it will kill any viruses, any bacteria, anything in your eyes, but it clears your eyesight. So the purpose in the jungle, the hunters and the warriors will sit with Sananga for 5 days is like a typical, but they'll sit with Sananga over and over and over until they have a clear vision. So it does multiple things. So it gives you better night vision. It clears your eyesight. There's actually documented science behind this. Like, it will improve your eyesight. One of the doctors that I learned from and studied with, he is documenting his own journey with Sananga because he has quite the prescription, and he sits with it every day. And if once you sit with Sananga and experience it, you'll be like, whoa, this guy is like, and he's serious, but he sits with it every day and he's documenting his eyesight improving, and he has it scripted out to when he will no longer need glasses because of the exact, like, there's the timing of it. Like he can tell, like, okay, by this time I will no longer need glasses because it's improving my eyesight. So in the jungle, they'll sit with it, and it also opens up your third eye, right? Your intuition, your third eye. So one of the warriors, as they're sitting with it over and over, and they'll, in the jungle, they're intense. They'll put like a palm leaf in the bottom of their eyelid and pour it in, and they have to like keep their eyes open.
Wow.
Yeah, we allow you to like blink and like breathe through it, but yeah, usually one of the warriors will get a clear vision of, okay, we're going to hunt this cougar, and he's on this hill behind this rock on the left side of the, he'll see it exactly where it is, and then they'll all go and they'll find, whatever it is, if they're going to battle or if they're going to hunt or something like that. So it's really powerful. And one of the stories, do you remember? And one of the men at one of our retreats, he was like, can I ask you guys something? Because we would do like meditations and visualizations, right? And we'll say like, picture a beach or a palm tree or something like that. And he says, can I ask you guys something? When you say that, do you actually picture that? And everybody in the room's like, yeah, well, yeah, I can see that, And he's like, I don't see anything. Like, it's just all dark. It's all blackness. And there's actually a medical term for that where people don't visualize, and it's just like black, and they just think it. Like, they think thoughts and like, okay, I'm supposed to see a palm tree, but there's not an actual image there, right? And it's not very common, but it does happen. So when we sat with Sananga, he's like, well, can this help me see? Will it help me like envision things? I'm like, I don't know.
Visualize
things. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's hold space for that and see. And so over the course of the weekend and the retreat and the different processes, and there's quite a few times where we'd do like meditations or breath work or visualize, have them go through visualization experiences. And towards, the middle of the retreat, he was like, oh, I experienced this and I saw this red light and then I thought this. And I'm like, wait a minute, can I ask you a question? Did you actually see red? And he's like, oh, yeah, I did. And he had never seen color before. It was always just black and dark. He's like, oh, wow, yeah, red and then white. And then by the last day, the very last experience, he gave us this whole story of where his visualization took him. Beautiful story, like with him and his wife and the forest and the ocean and all these things. And when he was done, I said, so did you actually see that? And he's like, I did. Like, he actually saw that. It was a visualization where prior to that, his entire life, 40 something years old, had only seen darkness, right? But through the process of everything we did, that retreat, including the Sananga, like opened up that stuck energy for him to where he was able to visualize. So that was just one cool story of one of the things. But
and the coolest thing I think from the men's retreat was just seeing like the bond and the connection. Like they call themselves the Banded Brothers or Star Brothers or
Star Bros.
Star Bros.
Like Starbucks. They called themselves the Star Bros. That was fun. Yeah.
It's just such a cool to like come together to heal, but then also to like leave as like super connected and
have those connections, because a lot of times we don't have we've lost those connections. That's the whole point of this podcast, right? Is like learning how to open up connections, have connections are so powerful. Like that's the human experience, right? If we don't have connections.
And they connected through pain, through laughter, through screaming, like through it all.
Release, through all kinds of experiences. And then they have a brotherhood now, and they have a community that they can reach out to and rely on that they didn't have before. So that was such a cool transformation that happened. For sure. Yeah. And we're running out of time on this podcast, so we're going to have to like dive in more on another episode of the other things that we do. But that's how we came together. So, but super powerful, not only for us, pushing us past our limits, right? But also helping hold space for other people to push past their limits and find out who they truly are and their superpowers within, right? Get back to the essence and the core of their being and really, really connect back into themselves, which opens up, like, how many wives just reached out and thanked us. They're like, you gave me my husband back. Like, thank you so much. Can I send him back to you every quarter, like, just as a refresher? But yeah, it's
just such a good refresh that they come back and then they go back to work and back to their families, just a whole new person.
Yeah, so that's exciting. It's fun stuff. We might have some more coming up. We feel some calling in, but when the time's right, we'll have those. And that's all for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this path of self-discovery and soul connection. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. For more inspiration and resources, join our Facebook group, Igniting Soul Connection. Also, visit us at findingthefire.com or follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Finding the Fire. Until next time, keep the fire alive. This has been a production from a podcast studio.